So last night, Jeanine Pirro dismissed the case against the former Olympian that she made up fake allegations against and said that he damaged the reflecting pole on a 50-mile bike ride. A former Olympian just happened to touch the reflecting pole that was falling apart that the entire country could see. But she wanted to be tough and show that she's for law and order. You know, Jeanine Pirro, who's basically a part-time alcoholic, who is working for a convicted felon and hasn't talked about January 6th and works for a rapist. She's for law and order. Sure, Karen, that's great. That's fucking hilarious. And she dismissed the charges. Why? Because I thought there was mountains of evidence to prove that he was a criminal, that he hates America. It was determined that the reflecting pole failed by improper installation by Donald Trump's people that he hired because they liked Donald Trump and they donated to him and they were his friends. Within a month, it had failed. 1 month. I thought Donald Trump only hired the best people. He only hires people that lick his boots and give him money. Doesn't matter if they're qualified. And even after all this happened, now let's remember, Donald Trump was, I have all this evidence. They could have slit with a box knife. They hate America, MAGA. They hate America. They're not Americans. They wanted to burn to the ground. They wanted to destroy everything. Your version of white America is going away. Be afraid. I'm for law and order. The convicted felon, the rapist, the man that defends child molesters. I'm for law and order. Remember that? And this is why I bring that up. Because back in March, that fat ass fascist said, this is the greatest liner. No one's ever seen anything like it. It's going to be American flag blue because only I love America. You know, I mean, clearly, only Republicans love America. It's so strong. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. You can't even cut it with a box knife. Watch the video. He said it. Now he's blaming Antifa and Democrats and radical leftists and immigrants and Muslims for cutting it with 350 feet. Even after the charges were dropped, he's still yelling at Jeanine Pirro. 100% this is wrong. I completely disagree. How dare she follow the evidence? I told her to prosecute people illegally, and that's what this is about. It was never about the case being about law and order. It was about charging people with crimes to scare them into submission. Because he, the gentleman that they falsely charged, had to spend thousands of dollars, probably tens of thousands, on lawyers showing up and being inconvenienced. And at the same time, Fox News and OAN and all of his little white trash media, they will see the headlines. And I guarantee you that when you go to Fox News, it will be almost nowhere on the front page. Just like January 6th was almost nowhere. I did a search about E. Jean Carroll that he raped. It's almost nowhere to be found. You will find more articles on Fox News about Hunter Biden's goddamn laptop than you will about Donald Trump causing an insurrection or raping women or being a convicted felon, because they don't want people to hear the truth. In 1984, by the end of the novel, George Orwell's 1984, they had convinced somebody that 2 + 2 is 5. When you tell the lie enough, this is what Goebbels did during the time of Hitler. If you tell the people the lie enough, they will start to believe it. You tell it again and again and again, day after day, week after week. This is straight up fascism. She had no intention. Charging the man was the whole purpose of this. This is a bedrock of fascism. How many journalists have they charged and arrested? Many of them. They've gone after senators and congressmen. They know they're not going to win. That's not the point. When Donald Trump was running, Steve Bannon said something. This has to be like a machine gun. Again and again and again and again and again. Okay? When you drive through a blizzard, what can you see? Almost nothing. You can maybe see 10 to 15 feet in front of you. There's so much snowflakes coming down. That's what this is. It's designed to keep his white trash base mad and angry and pissed off. You know, it's interesting. I had a conversation with somebody the other day about, I don't think MAGA are bad people. I don't think every MAGA is bad. I think some of them are really stupid. But here's the thing. You ignored a lot of stuff, and it's really hard to see the goodness in you. You ignored rape, sexually assaulting 24 women, being sued by a 13-year-old for raping her, January 6th, 34 felonies. He is actively defending child molesters. He is actively bombing Iran and murdered 170 girls. 5 officers died after January 6th. He told you to inject bleach. He added $8.2 trillion to debt. You knew exactly who he was. You didn't care. You hated the same people he did. Now, you can make the argument that his base is uneducated, but why? Why are Republicans so uneducated? Because you don't vote for anything. You vote against everybody, right? Own the libs, Antifa, woke ideology, transgender athletes. What's a man and what's a woman? Do you want men going into a woman's bathrooms? I don't want Donald Trump going into my daughter's dressing room because he's going to rape her. That's what I'm more worried about. But they live in constant fear. And instead of voting for something, you're voting against the Democrats, which is why you guys are lowest in education, lowest in wages, lowest in happiness. It's why you live in trailers and date your sisters and go to Klan rallies and have 6 teeth, because you don't vote for anything. You just want people to suffer. You created your own stupidity, your own selfishness, your own ignorance. You did this to yourself because you don't care. And that's the problem. The only way this is going to stop is when his white trash base suffers the effects of their selfishness and their ignorance. There's no way around it. I can tell a little child not to touch the hot stove as many times as I want, again and again and again and again, as many times as I want. But you know what? Sometimes that child needs to burn their hand. Trump's little white trash base needs to lose their farm, their jobs, their cars, their insurance. And for all of you MAGA that are saying, well, I can't believe that you want this. You didn't care about E. Jean Carroll, that he raped her. You didn't care about her. You didn't care about the families of the officers that took their own lives from January 6th. You didn't care about any of them. You didn't care about the 24 women that he sexually assaulted. You didn't care about the victims of Epstein Island that he probably sexually assaulted. And at a minimum, he's defending. You don't care about any of them. You went to the voting booth that says, I don't care. I only care about myself. I was promised more money and to own the libs. So yeah, you're shitty people. I'm going to stay on that until you admit it. You know that it's wrong. You just don't care because he hates the same people they do. But this, with the reflecting poll, this is straight up fascism. Y'all better wake up really soon. It's going to get worse. The more his approval rating drops, the more unpopular he becomes, the more desperate he's going to become. He's going to become more unhinged. And the Republican Party in Congress and Senate are never going to leave him because they don't want to piss off his white trash base because they have to stay in power. Have a good day.